everyone! We're going to play a game today called Would You Do This? It's for all of our daredevils out there. In this program, we will look at some of the most dangerous activities that humans do around the world, and you have to tell me, would you do it? I want to hear from you guys in the comments if you've already done these activities or if you would do them. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start this game out with one of the more popular activities I will be talking about today. Maybe some of you have even done it. So our first one is skydiving. All right, so it is a sport or activity of jumping from an aircraft and performing acrobatic maneuvers in the air during free fall before landing with a parachute. So basically you're free falling from an airplane, jump out of an airplane, and you hope that your parachute works properly like it's supposed to. Some of the physical benefits are it builds upper arm strength in controlling the parachute, as well as the big muscle groups in the lower body for landing. Lugging skydiving gear around also burns energy and tones muscles. Some of it's very heavy. So also facing your fears, what they say is if you skydive, you can do anything. I'm sure that's what it makes you feel like. Skydiving is obviously a very extreme activity, so definitely comes with some downsides as well, some dangers. So the obvious one is that your main parachute doesn't open. Also what can happen is it opens in a fouled or partially inflated condition, which can cause some problems for sure. But what they've done nowadays is they installed a second parachute that it can sense if something goes wrong with your first parachute. Either if it doesn't deploy or something's wrong with it, you can use the other one for sure. So it's safer than it used to be. And there's actually a man who jumped out of a plane 640 times in 24 hours. Definitely holds the record for most jumps in one day. All right, so would you skydive? Or have you already skydived? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so our second activity is shark cage diving. Shark cage diving is underwater diving or snorkeling where the observer remains inside of a protective cage designed to prevent sharks from making contact with the divers. They often chum the waters to ensure the sharks come around. However, in some parts of the world that has become illegal now due to dangers of the relationships between sharks and humans, promoting more shark attacks. So shark attacks are very, very, very unlikely. The benefits of shark diving is the thrill and the experience of being close to such a large animal. You have the experience of traveling to the place where sharks are, to learning about the sharks and their behaviors. I can imagine it'd be a very interesting experience. But of course, it comes with dangers as well. You're dealing with a very large animal with very large teeth. So it's pretty rare, but sometimes if the shark gets angry or there's food in the cage, he could ram the cage and possibly get inside, like we've seen all those movies. But again, that is very, very rare to happen. Lots of people do this daily. So it looks very dangerous, but apparently it's pretty safe. So the place that's rated the best to shark cave dive is actually in North Carolina on the Crystal Coast. So would you go diving with sharks in a cage? Our next activity is parasailing. So parasailing, also known as parascending or parakiting, is a recreational kiting activity where a person is towed behind a boat while attached to a specially designed canopy wing that resembles a parachute, known as a parasail wing. The conditions for this definitely have to be good. It has to be strong and reliable, or else if there's no wind, then unfortunately the parachute will go down and you will go in the water. And there's been some instances of people drowning because the parachute goes on top of them. So it can be definitely dangerous in that sense, but again, that's very rare because most of these companies who do this know when it's okay to take you out and when it's not. The benefits of parasailing are obviously the adventure of it and the thrill of having the wind in your hair and being above the land in the sea floating. It can be relaxing and very therapeutic as well. An interesting fact about parasailing, it was actually used during World War II. Submarines pulled individuals behind them to gain a higher vantage point over the battlefield. So, would you go parasailing? Our next activity is whitewater rafting. Whitewater rafting is actually very hard to say. It's a recreational outdoor activity which uses an inflatable raft to navigate a river or body of water. This is often done on white water, or there's also different degrees of rough water, so you can pick which one you'd like to go down. Dealing with the risk and the need for teamwork is often a part of the experience, so I guess the picture I chose isn't very comforting. But let's start with the benefits of whitewater rafting. In a therapeutic sense, it is often referred to as therapeutic recreation. That includes appreciation of nature, enhanced kinship, and better physical fitness. So most all rafters report a sense of peace and living in the moment on the trip. This doesn't look very peaceful to me, but I'm sure if you knew what you were doing and you could navigate correctly, I'm sure it would be very therapeutic. So here are the dangers. Definitely death is the main danger feared in whitewater rafting. Far more likely are the injuries that are sustained from smashing, banging, brushing, and smacking up against the rocks, because there are a lot of rocks. So these types of occurrences actually happen while still in the raft, as the raft hits against the boulders and people get thrown about and into them, unfortunately. So to be honest, this looks like the most dangerous one that we've done so far. Knowing all this, would you do this? Or maybe you already have and live to tell the tale. Now we have mountain climbing. Some people who are thrill seekers look for the highest mountain that they can find, and they just look at it and they want to scale it. There's an amazing documentary actually on Netflix called Mountains. You should check it out if you get the chance. So there's a few different types of mountain climbing. There's free climbing, which is kind of nuts, where you go and you don't have any ropes on you or anything, and you just kind of scale the mountain. And then there's the type where you are attached, but you keep attaching yourself as you go up the mountain. So that's definitely safer than free falling, but both are very dangerous. So here's some interesting facts about mountains. So the 30 of the world's highest mountains are in the Himalayas, and approximately 1,200 people attempt to climb Mount Everest each year, but only half of those reach the summit. So I don't know if you've seen recent pictures, well, probably not now, but before all this started, Mount Everest was very, very, very busy. It was just a string of people climbing up the mountain all together. So I don't think it would be a very peaceful experience being surrounded by a lot of people, but benefits outweigh the hazards for some people. So the spectacular views, the exotic traveling, health benefits, but the truth is there's a lot of hazards to mountain climbing that could ruin a summit or even cost a climber his life. So some hazards are falling rocks, there's ice, there's avalanches, snow slopes, crevices. The weather could change at any minute as well, you never know. And altitude sickness as well is something you have to think about. So I think this is a very dangerous activity, but would you do it? Or maybe you have actually already done it. Our next activity is extreme whale watching. Extreme whale watching is similar to just regular whale watching. However, you are much closer to the whale and you are in less of a flotation device. So if you see what these people are on here is a lot less than a regular whale watching boat. So there are obvious dangers of the animal coming up underneath you and knocking you off. Accidents in whale watching business are actually really, really rare. The benefits, however, are probably actually higher than the risks in this circumstance. You get to be beside the largest animal in the world, and the adventure value in that is very high. Well, I'm sure some of you have done whale watching, but would you do extreme whale watching where you're right up and close and personal? So the last activity we have today is bungee jumping. Bungee jumping is an activity that involves a person jumping from a great height while connected to a large elastic cord. The launching pad is usually erected on a tall structure such as a building or a crane. a bridge across a deep ravine, or on a natural geographic feature such as a cliff. So it looks very dangerous, but there are benefits to bungee jumping. So the first obvious one is overcoming your fears. I think a lot of us are afraid of free falling like this. You really gotta trust that elastic. You can release stress and worry. You can make amazing memories. You can accomplish a huge achievement. You can feel truly alive, and you can strengthen your muscles and explore the world as well. So a lot of people have said that the more you bungee jump, the more it kind of loses its magic. A common reason people will die while bungee jumping is because the cord is too long. Along with eye injuries, bungee jumping can also cause spine injuries. The extreme force your body goes through when being pulled up backwards by the cord, you could injure vertebrae and the delicate spinal cord as well. So there's certainly some dangers to it as well. The highest place in the world that you can bungee jump is an astonishing 764 feet above the ground. That is a lot of feet. So that's the A.J. Hackett Mako Tower. Would you bungee jump? All right, thanks so much everybody for watching. I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you have done some of these things or if you would ever consider doing them. Yeah, so I hope everyone's staying well, and we'll see you soon. Take care.